A very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Parliament is adjourned sine die. Rajya Sabha loses 55 hours to opposition disruptions. Lok Sabha works for 115 hours, passes 14 bills in the winter session. Last day of the session sees 4 bills passed in Rajya Sabha. Left objects to the absence of discussion on them. Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman makes a suo motu statement in Rajya Sabha, blunts the opposition criticism that India gained nothing from the WTO meet in Nairobi. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves for Russia. Will hold talks with President Vladimir Putin on economic and political issues. Declassification of files of Subhash Chandra Bose high on agenda. Our top story, the winter session of Parliament that started on the 26th of November was adjourned sine die today. But during the entire session, the Rajya Sabha lost 55 hours to disruptions by opposition parties. It was scheduled to work for 112 hours during this session. On the other hand, the Lok Sabha worked for 115 hours, an hour more than its scheduled 114 hours. The conduct of the opposition, led by the numerically strong Congress, came up for some stern comments from Rajya Sabha Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari.
3 weeks back, on December 1, the Rajya Sabha solemnly committed itself to the principles and ideals of the Constitution. A functioning legislature is an essential concomitant of these principles. Disruptions amount to their negation. The record of this session belies this commitment in good measure. The Chair appeals to the honourable members, 1, to introspect on this state of affairs, 2, to desist from approaches and practices that demean the stature of the Rajya Sabha, and 3, urges them to make the fullest possible use of the instrumentalities of accountability and discussion available to them under the rules of procedure.
All right, for more on what eventually went across today and also the entire winter session, we've got our correspondent Vishal Daya joining us from the newsroom. Vishal, first of all, just talking about today, some bills, of course, being passed, though the opposition claimed, especially the left, claiming there was no discussion on it. Just take us through what happened today in the upper house.
Well, yes, you're right. Today, all in all, if you look at it that way, 4 bills were passed. That statement which came in from the chairman at the end of the session clearly summed up the initial 2 sentences which were said by the chairman were that although, most of the session was no work could happen in most of the session because of disruptions, because of protest, slogan shouting. But in the last 3 days, some work has been done and, some sort of redemption might have happened. Now, he was clearly indicating to what happened in the House yesterday and today as well. Yesterday also, we saw some bills passed. Today also, 4 bills were passed on the last day. Although the difference is that there was, no discussion happened on either of those bills. There were some, objections which were raised by certain members, some clarifications from some members of the opposition which were replied to by the ministers, but then no discussions happened. And as you pointed out, the members from left parties, specifically from CPI and CPM, objected to this particular fashion of passing the bills without discussion, and they even staged a walkout. All in all, this sort of seemed a last-minute arrangement between the government and the principal opposition party, Congress, and some other smaller opposition parties as well, to ensure that some of the legislative agenda which had been pending for the entire session, that should be cleared. Also, let's not forget that last week, at the end of the last week, there was an all-party meeting which was chaired by the chairman, which was convened by the chairman. Yes. In that, there was an agreement between both sides, that's the government and the opposition, that they will clear at least 6 bills yes, in the last remaining 3 days. And that's what exactly has happened.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Vishal, thanks so much for joining us. And like you were pointing out, on the last day of the winter session today, Rajya Sabha passed those 4 bills without a discussion, and members of the left parties objected to this and staged a walkout. Here are all the details.
The last day of the winter session saw 4 bills being passed by the upper house of parliament without discussion. When proceedings began at 1 p.m, Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian took up the Commercial Courts, Commercial Division and Commercial Appellate Division of High Courts Bill 2015 and the Arbitration and Conciliation Act Amendment Bill 2015 for consideration and passing. Congress member T. Subbarami Reddy did not move the statutory resolution on these two bills, indicating the main opposition party's willingness to get them cleared. However, the left parties objected to the bills being passed without discussion.
No, not moving. You are not moving.
Not moving.
Yes.
We all agreed very minimal time for discussion.
Yeah.
Discussion. So let us not set the precedent
No,
of
because
passing without
I have
a
already said.
Can you pass bills like this, sir? It is for you,
You
sir.
know everything.
It is for you.
You know
But
more than me.
I have strong reservation. I have strong
Yes, I know.
objection, sir.
Soon after, two more bills, the Atomic Energy Amendment Bill 2015 and the Payment of Bonus Amendment Bill 2015 were also passed without discussion. However, some members sought a few clarifications.
This bill is proposing that government have a 51% cap on all new nuclear projects which are set up as joint ventures. Does this mean that private companies also will be included?
It is only for the private sector companies and
Public sector?
Sorry, public sector companies, not for the private sector.
Yes.
However, the opposition raised objections to the Sugar Cess Amendment Bill 2015, which was certified as money bill by the Lok Sabha Speaker.
मालिकों को मदद करने वाले सारे के सारे प्रोविजन है 10,000 करोड़ रुपए आप पहले दे चुके मैं चाहता हूं इस पर बहस होनी चाहिए आई एम हियर टू अपोज द शुगर सेस
Fines for the cess for the consumer. Is it fair or not? It is not fair.
The main dues problem has been that you had farmers' cane dues which were 21,000 crores, which have now significantly come down. Now to keep the prices at a level that the farmer can also be paid is the principal object. Now this cess entirely goes into the consolidated fund in the first instance. And therefore every ingredient under Article 110 of a money bill is there. Speaker has certified it as a money bill. We have two options. Either for our failure to take it up, it is deemed to be passed, or we return it as all money bills are returned.
While the Indian Forest Amendment Bill 2012 was withdrawn, the Rajendra Central Agricultural University Bill 2015 was introduced in the upper house on the last day of the winter session. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And in Rajya Sabha today, the opposition Congress, the Samajwadi Party and the JDU alleged that stones are arriving in Ayodhya for the proposed Ram temple. The opposition charged the BJP with trying to vitiate the secular environment, allegations that the government denied, while maintaining that the Supreme Court's verdict will be respected.
Raising the issue in Zero Hour, K.C. Tyagi of the JDU said that ahead of the assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, a communally charged atmosphere is being created in the state.
अब पुनः अयोध्या में वैसी ही परिस्थिति पैदा की जा रही है सब जानते हैं कि मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट में है और अभी दस्तावेजों का अनुवाद भी नहीं हुआ है ऐसे में सिर्फ माहौल गरमाने के अलावा कुछ नहीं सर 2017 में वहां
Congress members backed Tyagi's remarks, even as Samajwadi Party members marched into the well, alleging the nation's secular fabric was being damaged. Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi shielded the government. He said stone carvings for the temple are being done at a site that's 1.5 kilometers away from the disputed site. He also emphasized that the Supreme Court's decision will be supreme.
जिन लोगों का साधु संतों का नाम लिया वो अयोध्या में रहते हैं खुद पर उनके रहने पर कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं है और पत्थर को तराशे जाने पर भी कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं है.
Naqvi's remarks failed to quell the dissent as the opposition raised the pitch. Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian intervened, saying there was no confusion after Naqvi's statement.
I want to repeat that the Honorable Minister has given assurance that the government will go by the court's decision. Then what is the need of this shouting and agitation?
Amid the escalating protest, the chair adjourned the House for 10 minutes. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Lok Sabha was also adjourned sine die on Wednesday. The House discussed the contributions of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and the commitment to the Constitution during this session. During the session, the Congress and other opposition parties also disrupted proceedings on a number of occasions on various issues. But the government managed to get 13 bills passed.
Lok Sabha had 20 sittings during this winter session. In these, 117 hours of work was done, 13 bills were passed, even as the insolvency and bankruptcy bill was sent to the Joint Parliamentary Committee after the opposition demanded it. Among the bills passed were several related to the financial reforms agenda of the government.
भारतीय मानक ब्यूरो विधेयक 2015, उच्च न्यायालय और उच्चतम न्यायालय न्यायाधीश वेतन सेवा शर्त संशोधन विधेयक 2015, वाणिज्यिक न्यायालय उच्च न्यायालय वाणिज्यिक प्रभाग और वाणिज्यिक अपील प्रभाग विधेयक 2015, माध्यस्थम और सुलह संशोधन विधेयक 2015 और राष्ट्रीय जलमार्ग विधेयक 2015.
Besides the legislative business, several short-duration discussions on issues as varied as floods, drought and rising intolerance were held under Rule 193. During the debate on intolerance, there were heated arguments from both the opposition and Treasury benches. CPIM's Mohammad Salim and BJP's Virendra Singh were particularly in the news for their comments during the debate. Price rise was also discussed. However, this discussion was incomplete.
नियम 193 के अधीन अविलंबनीय लोक महत्व के विषय अर्थात देश में असहिष्णुता की घटनाओं से उत्पन्न स्थिति, देश के कई भागों में बाढ़ की स्थिति, देश के विभिन्न भागों में सूखे की स्थिति और मूल्य वृद्धि के बारे में 4 अल्पकालिक चर्चाएं, इनमें से मूल्य वृद्धि पर चर्चा पूरी नहीं हो पाई है.
The winter session saw the Congress party in an aggressive mode. The party raised the intolerance issue first. The Congress also focused on vendetta politics and corruption. They found support in Trinamool Congress, left parties and other opposition parties on a number of occasions. Among the opposition, the Congress party was able to register its presence despite its paltry strength. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, I will take a quick break here, but more news follows. Do stay with us.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Let's get to some more news. And the Delhi High Court on Wednesday refused to stay the Delhi government's odd-even formula for cars, which will be effective from the 1st of January 2016. A PIL was filed demanding an exemption for disabled people as their vehicles were specially designed, due to which they would not be able to follow the rule. The Delhi High Court has asked the government to take into consideration the issues raised in the PIL, but refused to stay the rule from coming into effect. The next hearing is scheduled for the 6th of January. Meanwhile, actor Salman Khan may face more trouble in the Mumbai hit-and-run case. The Maharashtra government informed the Bombay High Court today that it has decided to challenge the verdict, acquitting him of all charges in the Supreme Court. The government told the High Court of its decision to file a special leave petition in the Supreme Court to appeal against the actor's acquittal. The Law and Judiciary Department had accorded the sanction to the prosecution to file the SLP in the Supreme Court, which will be filed in due course. Salman Khan was acquitted of all charges on the 10th of December on the ground that the prosecution had failed to prove that he was driving the car under the influence of liquor. North India is reeling under a severe cold wave. The Met Department has recorded a minimum temperature below normal at most places in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and Himachal Pradesh. Here's a detailed report.
North India continues to brave severe winter conditions as the temperature dipped below normal in many parts of Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. Churu district in Rajasthan recorded the lowest minimum temperature of 3.2 degrees Celsius. While in Srinagar, the mercury plunged over 5 degrees to settle at a low of minus 5.6 degrees. Schools in Uttar Pradesh's Moradabad district were closed after the city recorded 4 degrees centigrade today.
सभी विद्यालय चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट हो, चाहे एडेड हो या प्राइवेट विद्यालय, सभी बहुत सख्त ठंड पड़ रही है और इससे स्वास्थ्य को हानि पहुंच सकती है। इसलिए निर्णय लिया गया है कि 23 दिसंबर से 3 जनवरी तक सभी स्कूल मुरादाबाद के बंद रहेंगे।
The Met Department predicted heavy showers and snowfall in the next 24 hours in Himachal Pradesh, even as temperatures in capital Shimla touched -1 degree Celsius. Heavy downpour is also expected in parts in Kashmir Valley.
ये जो सर्दी है ये लगातार आगे रहेगी आने वाले दिनों में भी, लेकिन एक वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस भी कल अप्रोच करेगी, जिससे हिमाचल प्रदेश के जो मिड हिल्स और हाई हिल्स वाला एरिया है इसमें हल्की बारिश या स्नोफॉल होने की भी संभावना है।
With the minimum temperature dipping to 6 degrees Celsius, Delhi too continued to reel under tough weather conditions. 2 trains were cancelled and 15 others were delayed as visibility slumped below 700 meters on Tuesday. However, flight operations were not affected. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you some more updates from across the country and nationwide. Kerala Governor Justice P. Sathasivam failed to board an Air India flight from Kochi after the pilot reportedly refused to wait for the dignitary and took off. The governor reportedly reached the airport only 10 minutes before the flight was to depart. Raj Bhavan will reportedly take up the matter with the appropriate authorities. That's, of course, the update that we are getting, of course, from Kerala. Meanwhile, Air India sources, of course, saying that they're looking into the matter. Meanwhile, in some other news that we're getting, of course, on Rahul Gandhi's Amethi visit, the Congress Vice President is on a 2-day visit to his parliamentary constituency, Amethi. He took a swipe on Narendra Modi's Achhe Din slogan, saying that bad days have come instead. Also, the Congress Vice President pointed out that inflation was at its peak and nothing has been done for the country's farmers and the youth. All right, with that, another quick break here. We'll be back with more news. Do stay with us.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue. Each square, in turn, also narrates a message of wisdom.
कला की दुनिया हो या साहित्य का संगम, पर्दे के सितारे हों या संगीत की सरगम, हम हैं सबके साथ हरदम। देखिए शख्सियत, गुफ्तगू और विरासत का इंद्रधनुषी संसार। देखिए सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी के पर्दे पर बार बार।
Tales that inspire, stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries every Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 12:30 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m.
Welcome back. Home Minister Rajnath Singh today paid tributes to the BSF troopers who died in a plane crash in Delhi yesterday. Tributes were paid at a ceremony at the Safdarjung airport where family members and relatives of all the 10 deceased personnel were present. Members of Parliament also condoled the deaths.
Why does a soldier's family have to cry every time? That was a question Saloni, the daughter of Sub-Inspector Ravindra Kumar, had for the Home Minister. At the funeral of the 10 BSF personnel killed in Tuesday's BSF plane crash. Kumar was one of the victims of the tragedy.
मेरे husband कहते थे it will take more than 4 to 5 years for the new induction of the aircrafts in BSF Air Wing.
Private airlines are still subject to very stringent checks and airworthiness directives, but when it comes to paramilitary or military airplanes, the airworthiness and maintenance is always under question.
He used to discuss that there is some kind of a less maintenance kind of a thing is there, and any time any wrong thing can happen.
On Wednesday, Home Minister Rajnath Singh was left fielding some of the most difficult questions of his political career, as relatives of the deceased personnel urged him to immediately replace all outdated planes of the paramilitary force. Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju, however, rejected reports of the outdated planes. The Parliament also mourned the death of the BSF personnel. Members in both houses expressed heartfelt condolences for those who lost their lives. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In international news, Iraq's military is fighting Islamic State militants in a major operation to oust the armed group from Ramadi. The security forces had stormed into the militant stronghold on Tuesday. The government says it expects to dislodge the militants within a few days. The Ramadi recapture will provide a major psychological boost to Iraqi security forces after a third of Iraq was seized by the militants last year.
The battle to drive out Islamic State militants from their stronghold in Ramadi has entered the second day, with the Iraqi military entering the center of the city. The capital of Anbar province had fallen to the militants in May this year, causing huge embarrassment to the Iraqi army. The army now has stormed into Ramadi in its bid to take the city back. Iraqi officials are optimistic that the city will be recaptured by the weekend. The officials said that forces are heading towards the main government complex and have come up against snipers and suicide bombers. The army says it now controls more than half of the city, including a key military command center. The operation to recapture Ramadi began early in November after a months-long effort to cut off supply lines to the city. However, the progress has been slow because the government is relying entirely on its own troops and not on the Shia militias in order to avoid rights abuses. The intelligence agencies have estimated up to 350 Islamic State fighters and possibly tens of thousands of civilians to be inside the city. The recapturing of Ramadi will provide a major psychological boost to Iraqi security forces, as it will be the second major city to be retaken from the Islamic State after Tikrit in April. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get to some more international news updates in Global Buzz. In the early hours of December 23rd, Greece passed a landmark bill which allows civil partnership agreements between the same-sex couples. This bill was enacted despite protests from opposition parties and the powerful Orthodox Church. Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, who has promised social reforms, said that the bill closed a circle of embarrassment for the state. An explosion at Istanbul's second-largest airport on Wednesday killed one person a person on an airplane and another person was injured. Budget carrier Pegasus confirmed the blast at Sabiha Gökçen Airport on the Asian side of the city, where no passengers were in the area. They have confirmed that operations in the airport are continuing normally. Rescue operation for the landslide victims in China continued on Wednesday over 60 hours after the initial collapse. Thousands of workers are using sensors, drones and earth excavators at the 94-acre disaster site, trying to reach possible survivors trapped under mud. The missing persons toll is now down to 74. Meanwhile, the search for the people missing after a ferry sank off Indonesia's stormy waters entered its fifth day today. The fate of as many as 70 people still remains unknown. 7 people have been reported dead and 41 pulled out alive from rough seas by rescue teams, the Disaster Mitigation Agency has told the news agency Reuters. Helicopters, fishing vessels and rubber dinghies are being used in the search. All right, that's all we have for you on the news at 6. Thanks so much for joining us.